What is going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my Browns Dolphins Week 7 game preview. And this week, we have what I would call an ass off. You've heard of the term mid off, right? Well, this week, we have what I call an ass off. As our 1-5 Cleveland Browns are back at the dog pound for the first time in just about a month, right? And ironically enough, the last time the Browns played at home at the Dog Pound, because of course that game in London was technically a home game. Yeah, the last time the Browns played at the Dog Pound, they won. So maybe a little actual home cooking will get this team back on track. But this week they welcome the also 1-5 Miami Dolphins, who seemingly have been unable to stop anybody. So if you really sit back and think about it, we have a team that can't score, the Browns, and a team that can't stop a nosebleed in the Dolphins. The resistible force versus the movable object. The exact opposite of Hogan versus Andre the Giant. And the way I see it too, do not be surprised if the loser of this game, that coach gets fired. Right? You think Kevin gets fired? Not immediately after this game if he loses, but yeah, I could see it. And believe me, I'm one of Kevin's better supporters. I've been pro Kevin really since he got here. Because again, we haven't seen the type of success that he's given us really ever since the team came back. We're talking about 2 playoff appearances and 2 Coach of the Year awards. But that doesn't do crap for this year. I think it's very possible that if this crap continues, the offense can't score, and we keep on wasting some pretty good defensive performances, I think Kevin might be on the way out. What about Andrew Berry? I don't see Andrew going anywhere just yet. I mean, you look at this draft class, this is probably the best draft class Andrew Berry has had since he came back with Kevin. Now, again, the thing is, Kevin and Andrew are intertwined, so it's very possible that if one goes, the other one follows. I could very well see that. And you know what's going to happen too? I talked about this before. If we fire Kevin, it would be such a Browns thing to have Kevin go somewhere else and succeed. Because that's what happens, right? And then people are going to come back saying, we shouldn't have fired him. Well, too late. So hopefully, Jimmy knows what he's doing. Of course, we know how Jimmy Haslam has notoriously had one of the itchiest trigger fingers when it comes to firing coaches in pro sports. He hasn't known patience, but I will give him credit. He's been pretty patient. My theory is they're going to let this Deshaun Watson thing, go away. They're going to wait until Deshaun gets out of here, which I think will be after next year, around there. And then the clock will start ticking on Kevin. It's like, all right, Kev, you weathered the Deshaun Watson storm. He's out of here now. That mistake is gone, thank God. And we're going to give you 2 years to right the ship, or even 1 year. The clock is ticking. Don't mess up. It's my theory, though. So we'll see. We'll just say that, and then Kevin will get fired later this year. All I'm going to say is, though, if you fire Kevin, you better not mess up the damn coaching search. Because, man, if you fire him and then you hire a coach that ends up being another Hugh Jackson or Freddie Kitchens, and then Kevin goes somewhere else and succeeds, because you know damn well, we fire Kevin, another team's going to snatch him up. because it's not too often that a two-time coach of the year is available. Not too often does that happen, right? But we'll see what happens. You know how the Browns are. Now, when it comes to Mike McDaniel, I mean, you could say his ass is in the grinder at this point. It's only a matter of time. The way I see it, if the Dolphins lose this game in embarrassing fashion, like if the Browns offense actually goes out and scores well over 20, maybe even 30 points, which has happened to the Dolphins a few times this year, actually. In fact, in their first three games, the Dolphins have given up 33, 33, and 31 points to the Colts, Patriots, and the Bills, which, okay, those three teams were actually pretty good. But then you give up 27 to Carolina and 29 to the Chargers. And then you gave up 21 to the Jets, who are, of course, winless. That's their lone win this year. And if you're the Dolphins, you're looking at this game like this might be the only win you get before your bye week. Because you got Atlanta, who's really good, Baltimore, who will probably get Lamar back by then. Then you have Buffalo again, and then Washington. And then after the bye week, Miami has New Orleans, the Jets again, and then, oh my God, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, who I believe will have Joe Burrow back by then, Tampa, and then New England. You can essentially say Mike McDaniel's ass is grass. He is essentially a goner at this point. He's on borrowed time. I don't see too many more wins on this schedule with the way they're playing. But like I said, this Browns team can't score on a chick at the street corner. They couldn't score if they went to a brothel. Oh my God. This has to be the most inept offense we've had. And I've seen some bad offenses. Like, at least the Jackson teams can score. They just couldn't stop anybody. Have one of the top defenses in the NFL, but the offense can't find the end zone. Couldn't find the end zone if you put it on a GPS. Yeah, if they lose this game, Evan might as well start packing his bags because for the Browns, there isn't too many winnable games left on our schedule either. You know, we're not in any better situation than the Dolphins if you really think about it. Because we have the Patriots coming up, which they're playing really well. We have a bye week. Then after that, we got the Jets on the road, the Ravens at home. Although, of course, we always play the Ravens tough at home. We haven't lost to the Ravens at home in a little while now. I'm pretty sure, a few years. Then we go to Vegas. We know how that's gonna go. San Fran comes here. Of course, we play the Titans. Then we have the Bears on the road. And then we wrap up the season with the Bills at home, which we haven't played them at home, I think, since we beat them. Right? Yeah. The last time we played the Bills at home, I'm pretty sure, was Josh Allen's first actual year as a starter, I think. And we beat him. Actually, look that up. I'm curious now. Of course, this Bills team is very different, obviously. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was when it was. When he had just become the starter and their offense wasn't that good. We won on a missed field goal, I believe it was. Yeah. Yeah, 2019. Yep. That was the last time we beat the Bills. I played them one other time since then. That was in Detroit because of the snowstorm. But yeah, that's not for a while though. And then of course we end the season with Pittsburgh at home and then Cincinnati on the road. So yeah, like I said, for us, there's not too many more wins left. Still wondering how the hell we beat Green Bay. But you know what's crazy too? If this team was even a better than they are, if they had a kicker, they beat Cincy. And if they could just get a stop or, keep the ball on offense for longer than 11 seconds, they beat the Vikings and they're standing there with a 3 record. And we're not talking about being ass and Kevin's not sitting there with his ass in the fire. But instead, here we are. Let's just be so happy that we blocked that field goal. And Andre Smith has been good because if we lose that Packer game, oh boy, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. But yeah, I don't see too many more wins on our schedule coming up. So, anyways, let's get into the actual preview. But like I said, the Browns have emerged from the gauntlet that was their first 6 weeks. And I'd say they kind of look like that, or perhaps that. Honestly, I'd say we all, fans and team included, look like that. Yeah, we are in pretty bad shape right now. Series history: Miami leads the overall series 13-9. Of course, Miami beat the Browns in Cleveland last year. And then the last time the Browns beat the Dolphins was back in 2019. Of course, that was right after Myles Garrett got suspended for the rest of the season because he decided to play whack a mole with Mason Rudolph's helmet. And to this day, we still don't know what Mason Rudolph said that set Miles off. If you know Miles, if you've seen him, out in public and stuff, he's pretty cool. Docile, awesome person. Doesn't seem like someone that would do that. So you'd have to say something completely messed up. Like damn near borderline like sadistic. Like you'd have to say something about his family. Or him. Call him a bad name or something to get him to do that. That's crazy. Now, let's get into the keys to victory. Number one, how about this? Try to score 20 points. This is a Dolphins team that has given up 20 plus points in every single game. 33 to the Colts, 33 to the Patriots, 31 to the Bills, 21 to the Jets, 27 to the Panthers, 29 to the Chargers. This offense even has a semblance of a pulse. Might be able to score 20. And you look at their team, right? Do they have a good defense? Obviously not. They have some good players. Of course, up front, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson. They're really good. Up front, Matthew Judon is there. Secondary is a little sus, though. Jack Jones, Rasul Douglas, who's pretty good. And those two, Minka Fitzpatrick is back in Miami. Lucky him, right? He goes back to Miami and their ass. Suits him right for freaking taking out Nick Chubb. That's tough. Man, that's tough. That's tough. But yeah, we'll see what that team looks like. Now on offense, of course, they have Jalen Waddle. Harry Kill got hurt. He's out for the year. They do have Darren Waller, who has reemerged in the NFL, and he's actually still pretty good. So we all know how we are with tight ends. But I'm looking at Devon Achane, right? If we can stop Devon Achane, which is very tough, he's their leading rusher. by far. According to ESPN, he has 390 rush yards on 76 carries. Quinshon Judkins is not too far behind. He's at 84 carries with 383 yards. And somehow we just decided not to give him the ball really at all last week, in the red zone, which is stupid. Any coach with a functioning brain knows to give your power back the ball in that situation and let them run people over. I don't know. But you know what else is really sad? Our leading receiver is Harold Fannin Jr., who's a tight end. That's sad. That's sad. That's just the way it is, right? But yeah, try to score over 20 points. If we do that, I think we can win. That's a tough task for the team itself. Number 2, force turnovers and protect the ball. You're facing Tua Tagovailoa, who has been turnover prone as of late. According to ESPN, he has 7 interceptions. And as we've seen with the Browns as of late, when they force turnovers, they have been known to turn those into points. I think they've mostly turned all the turnovers they've forced into points for the most part, aside from a few times. It's mainly like when they get a turnover in their own territory. Like when they force a turnover, before the opponent crosses the 50, and they actually get a good return on it, like what Delpit did. That's what set us up for that touchdown against the Packers and ultimately turn the game in our favor. I think if we can do that against Tua, I think we'll be good. But how about this too? Almost forgot. Is this the first time ever we're seeing a matchup of 2 Hawaiian-born left-handed quarterbacks facing off? Dylan Gabriel versus Tua. Who is the better Hawaiian-born left-handed quarterback? Have to wait and see. Of course, with Tua, they have to be careful because legit, he is one bad hit away from, I say, having mush brain. Man, that dude going to be, he's going to be a freaking vegetable if he isn't careful. How many concussions has that dude had over the years? Ugh. Hate to see what his brain looks like, that's for sure. Yeah, try to score over 20 points. That's going to be the big one. Force turnovers and protect the ball. That's another big one, right? Don't give the Dolphins more chances to beat you. Don't essentially set the table for them like you've been doing in the past. I will say, though, they did a good job not turning it over against the Steelers because, as we've seen in years past in Pittsburgh, the Browns always seem to turn it over at the most inopportune time. They didn't do that. They took care of the ball. I'll give Dylan credit. He has not thrown a pick yet this year. Not bad. See how long that continues. Now, of course, they haven't really been too aggressive. And that ties into my third key: be aggressive. Stop with the conservative crap. We always be setting ourselves up for failure with these stupid ass penalties, too, behind the sticks. Dump off passes that go nowhere. But the thing that really pisses me off, and you can almost count on it to happen in this game, too. We're going to have a big play negated due to a freaking penalty. Happens every week. And I'm sure it'll happen this week too. Now, getting into my player to watch, I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins. He didn't really make much of an impact last week because they rarely gave him the ball. I think this is the game where he goes off. Yep. At least I hope so. This could be the game where he really explodes onto the scene. That'd be great. I'd love to see him, break a big one. That'd be awesome. Now, as far as my prediction goes, you guys aren't going to believe this, but the Browns are actually favored to win a game. First time this year, the Browns are favored to win. They are 2.5 point favorites at home against the Dolphins. We'll see if anything like that happens. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it completely flipped at some point. But yeah, I think the Browns do somehow, some way score over 20 and they win. They win 21-17. Yeah. They win 21-17 and they essentially take out two birds with one stone. They score over 20 and they win again at home. And then of course next week they will face the New England Patriots and that will be on the road. So, got to go to Foxborough to face a pretty good New England team with Drake May and company. Mike Vrabel, who many Browns fans wanted to be the essentially the 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 heir apparent, I guess, to Kevin, the successor to Kevin, almost a predecessor. No, that's before. No, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, when Kevin gets fired, we want Mike Vrabel to be the coach." Nah. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll be live for this game like a freaking addict, like a psychopath on Sunday. And I'll see you guys then. See, I got the Browns winning 21-17. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell. I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Browns. And I'm out. Bye-bye.